Museum with Marcy Cook. It's April 21st, and my first question is, what is your earliest memory of the island?
Oh, my very, very earliest was when I lived in Culver City, grew up in Southern California, and a neighbor, young girl, Susan, was friends with me, and every other year, she got to invite a friend wherever the family went for vacation, and then her brother, Bob, got to invite him the other time. So one year, I came here with Susan, and the memory, I can't find the house, but it's probably one of those that's been torn down over the years. It's a little teeny cottage inland somewhere, and I just remember the two things I remember most were this family never took me on a trip again. Actually, they did, but they shouldn't have. It had a patio that was very uneven brick, and I just stubbed I was barefoot and just hit just right on the ball of my foot on the corner of a brick, and so it just made an L-shaped wonderful cut that bled and bled and bled, and these people just were so worried that I was really injured, which I really wasn't. It was just a cut. But anyway, but we stayed here for a week, and I loved Balboa Island.
What year was that you visited?
Oh my gosh, that probably would have been, oh my goodness, probably 1953 or somewhere around there.
What was the community like at that time?
That's all I remember was Jolly Rogers, of course. That was it. And I remember we rented little paddle boards and went around, and I remember going through the canal that separates Little Island from Balboa Island. But I just think of just little teeny cottages, and of course the fun zone. The fun zone was always a biggie. That was what you cared about, and the ferry boat. The ferry boat was special. The fun zone was special. And then cutting my foot on the patio, and Jolly Rogers. Those were the top memories of that summer. Yeah.
So when did you move here officially?
Well, the funny part of that is when we were living in Fullerton, my husband and I, and two little boys, and one day I looked in the paper and it said a house was to rent for the week for $100 for the week. And I went, what? There's no way it would only be $100 a week to rent on Balboa Island. So I called my husband at work. I said, I'm going to call this ad. I can't believe it's real. But he said, go for it. So sure enough, they had a renter in a place, and the renter backed out last minute, so that it was a last minute rental. So we came down for the week, loved it. Every day we said, oh my gosh, this is heaven. Every night we walked, to town, and the boys got ice cream and all. They were just ecstatic, and we said, oh my gosh, to live here would be so great. But it was obviously not something we really were thinking about. Then about 6-7 months later, we decided on a Sunday to go to the beach one day. And so we said, well, why don't we go back down to Balboa Island? We'll go to the same place where it was the other bayfront, South Bayfront, other end of Agate, of Marine, just right at the end. And so we went down there and were having a lovely day at the beach. The kids wanted ice cream, so we came up to Jolly Rogers to get an ice cream cone. And they saw the little realty carts, and they said, oh, we gotta go on the realty cart. We gotta go on. And we're going, well, no, you just don't. This is not a ride like at Disneyland that you can sign up for. And they both said, no, we really want to do this. And so I said, okay. So I looked in the window, at the very corner, there was a real estate, and it had a place on Agate that was available. So I walked back down the beach and said, Bob, come with me. We're going to go for a ride on the golf cart. And he said, what? I said, yeah, just humor me. We just have to go. We'll look at the house, no problem. That was on a Sunday. By Tuesday night, we had bought a on Balboa Island. It was hysterical. We had no thought of buying a house, but we went, and she said, oh, you're not going to like this one. It was on Agate, and she was right. We did. She said, but let me show you two others. And she showed us the two others, and when we got home that day, we said, either one of those two, those are really neat. What do you think? And he said, my husband, why don't you go back down tomorrow and look at both of them, and see what do you think? And so I came back after looking at both of them again, and I said, I think the Diamond House is the one we should go for. And that was on Monday night, and we made an offer on Tuesday morning, and Tuesday night, he was at a board meeting, it was accepted, and we were both going, oh my gosh, what did we just do? We don't even have the money, where are we going, what are we doing, buying a house, blah, blah, blah. But we didn't.
What year was that?
That was in 1975.
How did the community change from your initial visit to the 70s when you moved here? Did you notice anything different, or was it about the same?
No, yeah, it was pretty much the same, other than a lot of the homes had been torn down. Some of the little cute cottages that used to be there, as I said, I couldn't find the one, it still might have been there, but where I cut my foot originally. But a lot more, construction had occurred over the years, and a lot more businesses here had come and gone over the years. So. But other than that, it still had that wonderful little identity of just being a small community. And I still, whenever I go over the bridge, coming back on the island, there's still something just really special about being back on the island. It has its own uniqueness that I don't think anybody else can have. Mm-hmm.
There's a shared feeling about this coming
it
home
is,
and the bridge
it is.
experience.
Yeah, it just, and the ferry the same way. I've never ever gotten tired of the ferry. When we first moved here, our boys were, as I said, small, and so they loved the ferry, and it was whatever, 10 cents, I think, at the time to go back and forth. And we would go, and one of the guys would let the kids pull the horn to make the horn tune on the boat, and they just thought that was the cat's pajamas, and we just loved it. And then both my boys ended up being captains on the ferry boat. That's it. Yeah, got older. Yeah.
Did they participate in the programs for students to learn, like the BIYC or
No,
those organizations?
we also had a cabin at Lake Tahoe. We still have a cabin at Lake Tahoe, and so we would often be gone for 2 or 3, 4 weeks in the summer, and so we didn't want to put them in a program that they couldn't really participate 100% in, because they were going to be elsewhere for part of the summer. Yeah, so they never got to do that. Although there used to be, I don't know if anybody's told you, right on the corner of Agate, there used to be a pool, and they ran a little swim school, and so both the boys were in the little swim school there. We competed with some Irvine little homes and all that. That was really fun. They loved that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about the swim.
Yeah, and then they took the pool out, and it was a neat experience there. Yeah.
Why do you think you moved here? Just as a general.
Oh, there was just something about, well, both of us loved the beach, first of all, but there was just something special about this area. We'd looked out elsewhere, like down San Juan Capistrano area, San Clemente, and we found some cute little places that were kind of Spanish style that we really liked, but it wasn't the same as the feeling that you have when you come here. Again, those were cities. This was just a community unto itself, and it just feels different.
Would you share why Balboa Island holds such a special place in your heart?
Well, now, of course, there's so many reasons. My son, as I said, was a captain on the ferry boat, and he passed away of cancer at age 20. So the guys that were working on the ferry at the time were just unbelievable supportive of him. They all shaved their heads. They all did this wonderful, visiting with the hospital and kind of by his side all the time. So that became a very, very special memory that I would never, ever be able to duplicate elsewhere. And then my husband also passed away here, and both of them died in our homes, one on Diamond and one now on the Bayfront. So now, the memories here will always be, and I'd never leave. I mean, they'll have to drag me out before I'll go. I'm ensconced here, gonna stay forever.
Your home is known for its fairs. Would you share a little bit how you created that tradition? It's very recognizable in the community.
Definitely, as you probably saw, there's a sign, and the funny thing is we were sleeping. One morning we got people talking outside, and there were 2 gentlemen that were outside, and one of them just went, "Oh my God," and the other one said, "Oh, it's a hobby gone awry." And as soon as we heard that, we thought it was hysterical. We were in Florida and we happened to be in an antique little store and saw this little sign that said, "Teddy Bear Collector, Orphans Welcome Here." And we went, no, we're gonna get Orphans Welcome Here painted out and Hobby Gone Awry instead painted there. So hanging in our living room, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a little sign that says Teddy Bear Collector, Hobby Gone Awry. And it's so funny because half the people who walk by can't read and they go, oh, it's a hobby that went away.
Oh,
No, and I want to say awry, guys, read the right, I'm a teacher, right? Oh, it's hysterical. But my favorite one was when my husband was still alive and somebody said, oh my gosh, it says hubby gone away. Maybe she had too many bears. Bob and I laughed going, oh no, let's try hobby and awry. But hubby went away.
So where did the collecting start? What was
You
the
know,
initial bear that kind of
the initial bear, I know
everything?
I know exactly the bear. In fact, he's one of my favorite, still one of my favorite bears. That was when we were living on Diamond, and a neighbor of ours came over with this bear. She said, you've got to feel this bear. It's the neatest bear. And it was just a stuffed bear to look at. But when you held it, it just was like a little baby. It was just as soft and just kind of fell right into your, just cuddly type thing. And I went, oh, this bear is darling, where'd you get him? And I don't even remember where it was now. She told me, and I went and bought the same bear. And just had him on my dresser at our Diamond house when we lived on Diamond. And then, I'm not sure that I got too many more in Diamond. When we lost our son, Bobby, we decided we didn't want to live in the same house that he had died in and wanted to move elsewhere, so we moved to the Bayfront. And at that time, Beanie Babies were a biggie, and my other son, Jim, had a girlfriend who was a Beanie Baby collector, and she got me started on those silly Beanie Babies. And so one bear went to now not only bears, but I had everything, the turtles, the dinosaurs, the cats, the dogs, the squirrels, the elephants, whatever. And I went, no, this is definitely out of control. I'm going to just focus on bears. And so I probably, I know exactly how many bears I have. I have 3,643. And that's only stuffed bears. In fact, you'll get a kick out of this. At Christmas, we invite people in to see the house because it's fun, and I love that. That's part of the Balboa Island spirit. And at Christmas time, it's more so than others for me. I love that time of year. So I invited some people. If they stand around and really make comments and ask questions, and I'll say, would you like to come in? So this year, there was a group of Asians that were standing out there, and so I invited them in. And so they looked through the houses the other night at 9 o'clock. All my lights were out. Except my office where I was working, and there's the doorbell rang. And I thought, wow, it's after 9 o'clock. It's kind of weird. So didn't want to go downstairs to see who it was. But when it rang a second time, I thought, ooh, I better go down. Maybe it's something important. So I tried to look out the window, the door, and I didn't know who it was. And so I said, who is it? And they said something, I didn't get it. I said, who is it again? And so it turned out it's this couple and another lady. So there are 3 Asian people and a little boy, a darling little boy. And they said, you had us in at Christmas. And so we wrote to somebody in China, a lady, and we wanted them to find somebody who will make you a bear in China. So they had come a month ago, and I wasn't home, and now they came again, and even though the door, it looked like nobody was there, they were taking a chance, knocking on the door, and they gave me these 2 little bears that are handmade, and they're beautiful, and they are so cute, but they're not stuffed. They're made out of like beads. They're very ornate, they're beautiful. I love them, but they said, so now you have 2 more, and it's like, those can't really count. I couldn't tell them that, but those don't count because what I count are stuffed bears. And so these bears are beautiful, and they're my den, and they'll be there forever. They represent a bride and a groom, but in China, so they're red beads and blue beads. they're charming, they really are, but
Lovely.
it didn't add 2 more to my number count, so it's still 3,643. That is the correct number, even though I just got 2 new bears. Yeah.
Is there a naming process that goes along,
No,
or any
they
kind of
don't have-
record keeping? Or?
No, not at all. You know, if people started saying, don't they all have names? And I went, are you kidding me? 3,643 names. No, they don't. But they are out, and 1,000 got put away for Christmas, because those are just Christmas bears. So they'll come back out, and today I just packed away all my Easter bunny bears, except for a few of them. I said, no, I gotta keep these still out, they're too cute. So they're still out, they're upstairs, but most of them went away.
That's great.
Yeah, they'll come out next year again. 4th of July's next, but
That's right.
thank goodness there's a period. It takes a long time to.
I'm sure.
I had like 36 boxes of either bunnies or Easter decorations to put away. I have over 300 for Christmas, so, yeah.
Quite a process,
It's a process,
yeah.
but even the boats that go around the harbor, you know, that do like the Queen or whatever, do the tours, it's hysterical, because we'll hear the sounds carry so much on the water, and so they'll say things like, oh, and there's a teddy bear house, and she has 1,200 bears, and no, it's 3,643, get it right. They're always wrong.
Right.
In fact, I went over to the office last maybe December and told them, I said, for your information, here is the correct number, so you can tell people. But it changes, because every once in a while I'll give away a bear, and so then I have to minus a bear, or I'll gain a bear or 2. So the number is definitely, I need to have one of those big chalkboards that you erase it.
Right.
Because at Christmas time, the three questions are, how many bears,
Right.
how long does it take you to decorate,
Sure.
and where do you store all these bears? And so we should just have one big question, 1, 2, 3. It would save us from having to say it again and again and again. Yeah, it's fun.
Sounds like it.
It is.
It's great.
Well, there are people either that think you're totally nuts, which, I mean, a lot of people really do. They look like, oh my gosh, why would anybody do that? You know, and then there are others that just go, oh my gosh, this is so neat.
Right,
So,
the art of collecting and
yeah.
embrace it.
Well, and most children love it, of course, and I'm a teacher, so I love the glee of children. Happiness.
This kind of goes along with our next question. Do you have a favorite Balboa Island story that brings back fond memories of your childhood, or brings out that inner child in you?
Oh my gosh. Probably not really, other than, you know, as I say, just having the freedom to be on the island and do what you want to do. I remember as a child when we'd go out and swim, and we'd try to swim across to the other side, you know, and always the harbor patrol would come and say, no, you're not allowed to do that, you need to go back to the side you came from. Well, we would always go to the other side, because he didn't know what side we came from, and so we would go to the other side, whichever way we were going, which meant we, of course, had to swim back, because we had no money, we had nothing to be able to get back. The only way you're going to get back is swimming again. There we be again, and then trying to say, okay, now we came from that side, and he's going, wait, but you're going from this side. Anyway, we were always trying to outfox the harbor patrol that were trying to say you're not allowed to do that. But that's probably, I mean, one of the fun things that trying to outwit somebody that I'm not sure we outwitted anybody. But it was fun.
Would you have a special holiday memory that relates to Balboa Island?
Well, the boat parades, of course, are just, you know, for me, will always be outstanding, and will never be able to, I mean, up to the day I die, I'm sure I will always think of those with fondness and love. And it's the party atmosphere, it's the lights, it's the sounds, it's the boats in the harbor, it's the people and the joy of the kids we give out candy canes at Christmas time. And like last year, I think we had about 1,500 of them, and they all go, and all these kids are just so excited to see the boats, to see the snow machines, to see all the things that make noise and cause commotion on our bayfront. So that will always be in my heart as my memory for holidays.
How has Balboa Island become a home to you?
How has it? That's an interesting question. It just, yeah, I mean, since I moved here with our boys, they were 3 and 4 at the time, it immediately was, enveloped our whole world. We met all our friends that had children of that age at the bus stop. In fact, yesterday we spent Easter Sunday with my son and his wife and my grandson, with friends who somebody said, well, gee, how'd you ever meet them to begin with? And it was at the bus stop when Bobby was in kindergarten and their little girl was in 1st grade, and we were at the Sapphire Street bus stop where the kids are getting picked up to go to school. So that became, and they're like family to me now. In fact, since I don't have a husband anymore, they just have just been this wonderful, wonderful twosome that have enveloped us, and over the years been there for helping when the children had a problem or whatever. So it's the people that make it too, it's wonderful.
Can you share about your favorite story about any celebrities you might have met at the island?
Well, the funny thing was when we, of course, first moved here, we lived in the 300 block of Diamonds, so we went to the other bayfront, which is North Bayfront, and we'd heard that Buddy Ebsen, of course, lived on the other bayfront, and so we were at a party, and he was at it, and I remember on purpose just going up and kind of bumping him to be able to say, I touched Buddy Ebsen, right? As if that was really important. It was like, oh yeah, we're in touch. Yeah, literally. But of course, really close friends of mine now are the Locklears, Diane and Bill Locklear, and the way we met them, and Heather Locklear's mother and father. But we met them because they were rented right next door to us on Diamond, and then that's when Tommy Lee was married to Heather, and the Motley Crue group would come and borrow our basketball so they could play basketball, and the boys just thought that was so cool, and Tommy was driving a Tuscaloosa and all this neat stuff, so that was really, really fun for them. And then when she married Richie, then we had moved to the bayfront by then, and so then instead of the Locklears renting the house on Diamond, we got them introduced to people that are next door to us on the bayfront, so then they rented next door to us on the bayfront for a year or so. So anyway, but they're dear, dear friends of mine now, but obviously important to somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Heather.
Would you please share about any life-changing events that have occurred at the island?
Life-changing events. I don't know. Tell me what you mean by
Some
life-changing
have reacted
event.
for personal or communal, so anything that you've experienced. I know you brought in such a significant piece of that photography that showed the air rays and just the lights out. I know it's an early experience, but some have kind of remarked about that's like the community feeling, a change, or kind of more of a personal story of like the shift.
Yeah, nothing really comes to mind. I mean, other than personal comings and goings of family members and things that are not. But otherwise, I really don't think that there's anything there that I could contribute. Sure.
Would you have a favorite story about a business on Marine Avenue, even if that business doesn't exist today?
Well, I guess when there used to be a little coffee shop across the way here in this block. That was called Sutherland's not Sutherland's. Daryl Sutherland's father, I think, owned it. But anyway, it was a very small coffee shop, and we loved going there, and then we heard Starbucks was coming in, and we went, oh no, because he probably would go out of business, and which did happen. And so for the whole time that he was still in business, we would not frequent Starbucks. Now I'm a regular at Starbucks. They know me by name and what I want. But that was too bad, and I loved that store. And of course I remember, as probably a lot of people do, the old hardware store, which was such a neat place, because you could walk in there and buy a beach chair, or you could buy a neat beach towel that would have Balboa Island embroidered on it sometimes, or you would just go and buy a nut or a bolt or a washer. But it was a neat place to have. And then of course the other one that I loved was where they always had the t-shirts. It was in the same place that the hardware store was, and they always had the Balboa Island t-shirts and tank tops and I can't think of the name. Beach Company, Balboa Beach Company.
It was a good store.
And
Yeah,
we
it was a
would,
great
when we
store.
would go to Greece, we would always take a few t-shirts to give to the people that we met in Greece on the beach, the guys that worked the beach, just so that they'd have beach hats. And sometimes they'd wear the same thing. That was 2 years ago, sure. Because every year they'd come out with their summer version.
Right.
So each year we take a batch over there. So those were special. So I hated to see those. And of course I hated to see the mole hole go, because I don't know if anybody's comment on that. It wasn't there very long. It was just right on the corner where Starbucks is now. And it was the perfect place to go and get that unusual little gift, nice gift item, and that was sad when it went out of business. I hated to see it go. And of course Jolly Rogers, all of us hated to see Jolly Rogers go. That was just, it just had the memories, and it just doesn't anymore to me, to go into that restaurant now. It's just not the same.
What was it like gathering there at the Jolly Roger? It seems to be a very memorable place for a lot of people. Is there,
Well, I think
you recall the gatherings?
For me, I think the most fun was when I was in high school. I would come and stay with girlfriends of ours, and once we had, I don't know, we were all supervised with an older sister, and we rented a place over on the peninsula. But we came over to Balboa Island, and that was the in place to go for. And I remember a convertible car with some guys in it were going down, and they were honking and trying to wave, and they were yelling at us, "Hey, Blondie," and all. And then this crash, because they forgot to keep their eye on the road, and crashed into the car in front of us. We were just dying. We went, oh my gosh. We raced into Jolly Rogers saying, oops, oops. So that was a great memory. But so Jolly Rogers had fun. I know we had gatherings there. No. But the boys loved it, and I loved the little ice cream. They had a window outside. You could get ice cream cones, and the kids loved to do that. And they actually did that afterwards too, that whatever restaurant took over. But I don't know, there was just something special about it.
Right. Well, thank you so much for this.
I hope you got
wonderful.
some. I hope you got
No,
some.
this is fantastic. So we thank you for your time and your contribution here. It was a pleasure.
Good luck on your project.
Thank you.
It should be fun.